So today is Dean and my 8th anniversary. We got married 8 years ago in Colorado, and since then we have moved several times. We have had several different jobs each. We moved to Oklahoma and have had 3 kids. We bought a regular size house, ended up downsizing to a small house. We have had our share of ups and downs as well. Financially stable good times, financially hard times, trying to get on our feet. We've lived in a big house, we lived in small houses, and through it all, there's one thing that we have come to realize is one of the most important things in life. We have found out that every area of our life is impacted by the atmosphere of our home. By, if we're peaceful and on good terms and are happy at home, then all the other areas of our life are going to be doing well. But if there's strife in our home and we are at odds with each other and struggling, it affects all the other areas as well. And so this is something that we are growing in and are trying to invest more in. I feel like all good things in life have to be worked at. They don't come naturally. I truly feel like life is kind of like a river that is constantly flowing down, and in order to bring positive into our lives and encouragement and have happiness, we have to work at it. Just like, relationships, you have to invest in them. You have to put the time and the effort in. And everything good in life, you've got to be willing to proactively pursue that. And happiness and peace in our homes is one of the most important things in life. Are we sharing this because we have it all figured out and have a perfectly peaceful home? Goodness, no. Lord knows we have our struggles. Even earlier while trying to make the intro for this video, there was a storm rolling in and we both just got stressed and in a big argument and had to cool off for a while. And so by no means have we got this figured out, but we both see and understand the truth that this needs to be the main area that we invest in is the peace in our home and a happy atmosphere. And so that is what we're striving for. And I think that realizing truth in something, having a realization and being willing to have the heart to strive for that is half the battle. Once you have that figured out, just knowing the truth and you are willing to work at it, that is half the battle. And then just constantly seeking God's grace to carry it out. That's where you'll find success, just slowly and surely with His help. Back in Colorado, I had a lady who mentored me and encouraged me for a while. She was amazing, and the first time I went to her house, I stepped in and sat down on the couch. She was making me a cup of coffee, and she said, "How does my house feel to you?" And I thought about it, and I was like, "It feels really peaceful." And she said, "Thank you. I work very hard to make it that way." And I realized then and there that a peaceful home, no matter how many people live in it, is something that you have to strive for daily. Anytime there's more than one person in a home, it's gonna be stressful. You're gonna have to work at it to jive and to get along, because we are imperfect. Every human is imperfect, and we all have our own, our own faults and our own little quirks and things that frustrate us. And we're humans. We get tired, we get hungry, and we have our own way of doing things. And so it's gonna be difficult, but every day we have the chance to make that choice to make our home more happy and more peaceful. And if we're willing to communicate with each other, and we're willing to be humble and say, "I'm sorry," and if we're willing to change ourselves and grow and see things from the other person's perspective, then every time we make that decision, more peace enters our home. And every time we choose to create an atmosphere of fun and lightheartedness instead of heaviness and focusing on the negative, every time we have a chance to create more happiness and more peace in our home. And I think that's one of the most important things in life. This past month, I've really been realizing that peace around me has to start with peace within me. Because if I'm stressed out in life, then that stress is going to reflect on my environment, and it's going to reflect on everybody else around me, and they're going to get stressed out too. I've noticed such a difference. If I, have the house messy and Dean walks in and I'm in it, instantly have an attitude of just defensiveness and frustration and stress, then that instantly rubs off on him, and he feels that way too. But even if the house is messy and he walks in and I'm, calm and happy to see him, he feels like he can be at ease as well and relax, even if the outward environment isn't completely clean. And so I know that our attitudes have more to do with the environment of our home than the actual state that it's in. Because it doesn't matter what size home you have, it doesn't matter, what belongings you have, if you're not at peace within you and with each other, then none of that is going to matter and you're not going to be happy. So we have to invest in ourselves first in finding out, what stresses us out, what can bring me more peace and happiness on the inside. And for me, I know that I have to spend that time connecting to the Lord and asking for His help all the time, because I need His help to be able to do life and find peace every day. And now that Dean and I have 3 kiddos, I have several amazing women at our church that speak into my life all the time that it is so important to decide what you want your legacy to be, and to decide, who I want to be and who I want my children to be. And every day who I am and how I interact with them is shaping who they will be one day, and just realizing the impact of that legacy that we're leaving. And so just like I was saying, that life is, like a river that's constantly flowing downhill, we have to be proactively investing in them and in their character and in who we want them to be daily, because otherwise they will just go on, they will get molded and shaped by the culture, by the media, and by friends, and by everything around them, instead of by good stuff, by truth, and by wisdom, and having a good heart. So I'm constantly trying to think of ways on how I can just impart the positive things into their life and be proactive in that, and just growing them as people, because that also brings peace and joy into the house, when they are learning to be respectful and to be loving as well. If you're going through a hard time, it can be so easy to focus on the negative and the hurt and the hardship of marriage, or of just whatever's going on around you in life. And I've been there, and it can be hard. But one thing that has really helped us as a couple, helped us not to feel guilt with each other when we mess up and to just focus on the negative, is to just keep things lighthearted as much as you can. When somebody says something that is hurtful to you, we have the choice to dwell on that and truly be hurt. And there's times that I definitely do. But the times that I'm able to just make it lighthearted and try to just move on and think about something else, talk about something else, it always goes over so much better. And the same for when Dean does that with me. If we're able to just keep the mood as lighthearted as possible and focus on the good in each other. What things has your spouse done recently, or your roommate, whoever you're living with, what have they done recently that has made you feel loved? What do they do that makes you feel encouraged? And just focus on those things, dwell on those things, on their positive qualities, and have that long-term mindset in mind with your children and with everybody on what your focus is, what your goals are in life, so that you can stick with these people, especially your spouse, for the long run. Think about the good, dwell on the good, forgive as often, as much as you can, and just keep it lighthearted, because guys, we all need grace. We are all imperfect. We all need grace. And as much as we can give that to each other and let each other off the hook, that's, the more that they'll give it to us, and the more we can have peace in our homes. So don't be hard on yourself. Don't be hard on each other. Just keep asking for that help from the Lord, and be willing to give grace and cultivate happiness and peace in your home. And what does that look like for you? Because for me, I'm always trying to step back with perspective and look on my life with, in what ways am I getting too busy? In what ways, what things are stressing me out? What can I cut back on to make my home and my children, my husband, more of a priority so that we do have that peace? Whatever it is that you feel would add happiness to your life today. And if you're willing and brave to comment below on what that might be, we would absolutely love to hear it. We want to be vulnerable with you guys on our struggles and what we're learning, all of this, and we'd love to hear what you're learning as well. So comment below. If this was an encouragement to you in any way, we'd love if you would hit the thumbs up button. And we're so thankful that you're following us on our journey to bliss. We'd love if you would want to subscribe and follow us. We'll see you guys in the next video.